Hello and welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen and today we're not making soap, we're going to make lip butter lip balms. And I have a new recipe that I will be sharing with you today. I have a previous lip butter recipe which I love, but it's very heavy on the butters, it's very solid in the tube, and my kids in cooler weather, let me back up. In cooler weather, it's very firm, so you kind of have to rub and rub to get it to melt with your body heat, and that was a little bit of work. So today's recipe is still a lip butter. It's got the butters in there, but it has a little liquid oil to make it slick. So it's a slick lip butter balm that's not quite as stiff in the cooler weather. I really like my other recipe in the summer and stuff, but this one's a little slicker, a little smoother. So that's the recipe we're doing. I will share it down below. And for the fragrance, not a fragrance, essential oil. On the lips, I like to use essential oils. So I'm going to be using my sweet orange essential oil. I got this from Wholesale Supplies Plus. Any good essential oil will do. So that's what we're doing today. And I have a new tool. I got this tip. I was watching Jen over at A&N Suds and Such. She was doing lip balms. I love to watch other soapers that I follow do their products, and you know, sometimes they'll share great tips. She used, it was a vapor refiller plunger to fill her tubes with, and I'm like, that's brilliant. So I bought this pack of, these are 60 milliliter syringes, no needles, it's just an open hole plastic. They're for laboratories. I got this on Amazon. They're all like hermetically sealed, very sterile. So anyway, I did a test batch with them and they work really good. The plunger's stuck, I washed it out, but I will use a clean one today for the lip balm, brand new, opened up until I learn how to sanitize these properly. I just washed it out with warm soapy water. But you fill your hot oils up in here and then you go along and use that to fill your lip tubes, and it really works kind of brilliantly. So thank you, Jen, for sharing that pro tip. I'm using it and I hope you all give it a try. The only stickler with this is that of course with lip balm, my lip balm recipe has beeswax in it, which cools very quickly and gets firm. So you got to kind of work fast or it starts to solidify in here and then you're pushing really hard. But anyway, let's use these today, see how they work. I'll bring you along with it. I'm going to get everything pulled together and of course get my whole work surface sanitized, get everything prepped and ready to go before we dive in and make some really luxurious, slick lip butters. All right, so the first thing I need to do is get all of my lip tubes in my handy dandy little lip tube filler. I got this from Wholesale Supplies Plus. It's flexible, easy to clean, and it holds the tubes really tightly. So I'm going to load this up. I'm going to put, this is probably going to make about 20 tubes, so I'll put a few extra in there just in case, you know, you don't be trying to grab one at the last minute. So, and one of the tips is I always put a couple extra down here just to act as like a footer for a tabletop, you know, and that these, I'm not going to fill them, but they make nice little legs on the table, if you will. So I'm going to get these all loaded in here. I had to get the white ones because they were sold out. I got these from Wholesale Supplies Plus. Also, they had a sale going on. They were sold out of the clear, I think they're called natural tubes. And I thought this would be okay because my labels cover the majority of this tube anyway. And, you know, white's pretty neutral, so it was not a big deal. But normally I get the natural colored ones. So we're doing white today. All right. Those are all in there nice and tight. Just a heads up, when you order lip tubes from Wholesale Supplies Plus, you have to order the lids separately. They come separate. I guess some people order different color lids or something, but so just so you know, when you get lip balm tubes on Amazon, usually they come with caps, but if you get them from there, just be aware of that. So these are all ready to go. I have my essential oil here, sweet orange essential oil. This is from Wholesale Supplies Plus. I've got my dropper off to the side. That's ready to go. Got all my oils ready and my new idea. I just was thinking about this and we're going to give this a try. My new tool is going to get used today. All that being said, let's get the ingredients started measuring out here. And the first thing I'm going to do is measure in my hard oils, my beeswax, the coconut oil, the cocoa butters, and get those melted, and then we will add the liquid oil in, and of course the essential oil will be last. So let's get to measuring the hard oils. First thing is my beeswax. I am working in grams today because these are very small units. Grams work great when you're doing a tiny batch. I like grams. So these are from Wholesale Supplies Plus. The yellow beeswax pastellis, and they are very easy to measure tiny units. I do have my home rendered beeswax that I love for my lotion bars and things, but they're kind of chunky, and so it's hard to get a really tiny exact measurement. So I'm using these. I need 23 grams of beeswax. And now I need 22 grams of cocoa butter. And I like to use these cocoa butter wafers because, again, they're smaller units and easy to measure. So 22 grams of cocoa butter. All right, and now I need 17 grams of Shea Butter. I get it in bulk. It's kind of a mess, these bags. If you can see in there, it's kind of messy and sticky, but it's great Shea Butter. And the last hard oil is coconut oil, and I need 10 grams of coconut oil. All right, so now I've got all the hard ingredients in here. You can do this in a double boiler to melt it down. I'm going to pulse this in the microwave and stir in between pulses. You don't want to overheat with the Shea Butter just to get this all melted. So we'll be back when it's melted up and we're ready for the next phase. All right, it's all melted. My little stir stick here is literally just a paper, not a popsicle stick, but one of those cake pop sticks. I got it in the wedding decorating aisle, a big pack of them, and they're disposable. When I work with beeswax, I like to use these. They're compostable, disposable, they're made out of paper. So that's what I'm stirring with, and those are great. So I've got to tear out my scale, and now the next step is I do a little bit of vitamin E oil. It's not even going to register on here. I just do a tiny little drop just because I think it's so good for your lips. I think it's wonderful. So the vitamin E oil is going in there. I'm going to get that all stirred in nice. And then the last oil is liquid oils. You could do a combination here if you wanted to do like a walnut oil or sweet almond oil, grapeseed, whatever is up your alley. Today, I'm actually going to be using organic extra virgin olive oil. I think olive oil has some great skin benefits. So that's the oil I'm going to use. This is what makes this recipe versus my other lip butter recipe a little more glidey, a little more fluid feeling. It melts a little quicker is because it's got the liquid oil in there. And I just think it has a little smoother finish. I love my previous lip butter recipe. It's so nourishing and nurturing, but some people thought it was a little bit hard. I got feedback from my kids. They're like, when it's cold, it's, takes a little while to warm up. So this makes it a little more glidey, a little slicker of a lip balm. So here we go, 40 grams of liquid oil, and I'm using olive oil. So this is where you can get really personalized. You can add, the liquid oil of your choice. Just 40 grams of whatever you choose. All right, 40 grams, and now I'm gonna get that well incorporated. It was cool, so it kind of firmed up the beeswax and the cocoa butter. They cool off very quickly, but once you stir it, the warmth from the melted hard oils just melt everything back in there. It's warm, it's not hot, it's warm. Now, for the essential oils. With essential oils, each one has a different usage rate, especially with skin contact. So this would be considered a carrier oil. You're not putting this directly on your skin, it's going in a carrier oil. The rule of thumb is 1 to 2 drops per tube. So I have 20 tubes. I'm going to do 40 drops of essential oil. So we'll see. I'll tell you how much. I'm going to tear that out and I'll tell you what that weighs in grams, but I'm going to try to do 40 drops of the essential oil. You can do more or less depending on what you're using. So let me get my little pipette loaded up here and we'll just start. I'm doing them in doses of 10 so I don't lose count. There we go. And it didn't even register on here, so less than a gram. But it smells nice. And that's, you don't want it overpowering. I just want the essence of the orange. I don't want, you know, like orange in your face, but just that wonderful citrus bright essence in there. All right, get that all stirred up and let's get these poured. I gotta unwrap my little thing. All right. And they come with a little cap on it. These don't come with needles. They're just open hole. These are made specifically for measuring things in a laboratory. So it's the pumper on, it's nice and smooth right now. I'm glad for that. So I'm going to go ahead and suck up my Lip Balm butter oil here. And we'll get to filling these. So if you've watched my other lip videos, you know that I do not have a steady hand, and so filling the tubes is my challenge, and that I was looking for a way to do this, and I saw Jen over at A&N Suds and Such. I'm not familiar with, you know, the smoking world of vaping, but apparently they have like little refill syringes like this, and that's what she was using. I'm like, that syringe is a great idea. So thank you, Jen, for sharing that pro tip. So far, it's working great. It gets a little stiff right now. It's starting to cool off in the pumper, and I'm having to push a little harder. But I don't want to push too hard because otherwise it'll like shoot out of here and splash. So it's not perfect, but I'm finding this a decent option. All right, so I definitely got more than 20 tubes. I got 28 tubes to be specific, and they are still firming up. So they're still a little bit warm. And while they're warm, I'm gonna, come in with my heat gun and hit the tops on these. You can see a couple of them have little sinkholes and some unevenness as it started to cool off when I was pouring. So the heat gun is wonderful. Just let it get hot. And you come in and just hit the tops and even them out. And it makes a nice, smooth finish. I think it just is prettier that way. All right, it's time to unmold them out of here. They are all cooled off, so I pull them out. I have a clean paper towel and I just run around the rim to make sure it's nice and no drips or whatever, even though they're pretty tight in there. Put the cap on and there it is. These are so cute and luscious. So I'm going to get these all capped up. Then I have my labels. Have my labels off to the side. I'll show you that whole process. And my shrink bands. These are new. I used to not use the shrink bands. I got them. I love them. So I'm going to shrink band. I'll bring you along for all that. But right now I got to get the caps on all these. All right, we're back and it's time to wrap these up. The caps are on, so the gloves are off. We're good to go. So again, these are from Wholesale Supplies Plus. I got these shrink bands from there also, kind of using. I'm not an affiliate with them. I just shop there a lot, I guess. They have good sales, and so I do shop there frequently. But these will be the shrink bands I'm going to put on. And they have, when you buy a container from them, they have suggestion on the bottom what lids fit the containers and what shrink bands. So all the information is on their website. So anyway, you can find it all on there. So got the shrink bands. So here are my labels. Here, I've got a half sheet here. I designed these on Maestro Label Designer, that if you purchase labels from onlinelabels.com, you can get a year's free subscription to their label designer program, Maestro, and that's what I used for these labels. They are specifically for lip balms because they have the little tab that goes up on the cap so that when you break the seal, you know you're the first one opening it. So that's all great. And they even had templates for the label designs, and I am super tech challenged. So if I can figure this out, I know you can too. Please don't ask me questions about label design because this is one of my biggest business challenges. I am super challenged in this area. So I muscle through, but I find Maestro pretty easy to work with, and I'm very tech challenged. So there's that. So now, first things first is we have to get the paper labels on, then we shrink band. Oh, and also I wanted to show you, I keep my lip balms in these cute, they're foldable, collapsible. They came flat. I got this from Wholesale Supplies Plus. It's just a little display thing, and your lip balms kind of line up in there. It keeps them from rolling around on me over on my storage shelves where I keep all my products. So once they're wrapped and shrink wrapped, they go in here. So again, there's a lot of stuff on their website. If you have never shopped with them, go check it out. They've got great sales, all of that. So I take the label and I look on the tube. Usually you can find a very faint seam. I'm looking, my clear ones had seams. If these don't, I'm going to be challenged. They don't. Okay, so no seam. You just take the label and get it started so that the little tab is up on the cap. Roll it around, easy peasy. And I like to press it down. These craft labels don't stick, super sticky, so I kind of really have to press them down. The shrink bands help hold them in place, but once it's on, it's sealed up, sanitary, ready to go, all the information on there. So I'm going to get these labeled, and then we'll come back when it's time to do these shrink bands. All right, I've got all the labels on. I've got my little shrink wrap, and you can see that the top half is perforated. So obviously you want that to go on the cap side. So just make sure that if you do shrink wrap, and you don't need to, especially with these labels that have the little tab on them, this is not necessary, but if you do, make sure the perforation's at the top. So you just twist it off. So you just slide it on like that. They fit very nicely. Get your heat gun, and the trick is you don't want to heat gun this too much, because first of all, the shrink wrap will shrink so much it'll tear, but second of all, you don't want to melt the product inside. So I like to hold them in my hand so that I can feel the heat and make sure it's not overheating and melting what you got going on the inside. So we'll just turn this on, and I'm knocking over my ones on the table, but it goes really quick. And there. I don't like to overdo it, and there it is, perfectly sealed. And this helps keep the label on nice, no lifting, and ready to go. So these are going to go in my little box, and they go over on my shelf like this. All right, my little display rack here is a little over full, but that's okay. They're gonna hang on in there. They're all done, and I hope you enjoyed the video today, and I do hope you give the recipe a try. If you do, please let me know down below. I'd love to hear how you like it, and Please consider hitting the like button and the subscribe if you enjoyed today's video and want to see more like it. Thanks for being here.